our children at all. Cowards, precedent. So who are we really talking about? We got to understand that for the most part, because just to get back on track, who are the cowards? Who are the people that's really taking initiative to really take care of the business? Because just from the manufacturers to the media creators down to the pastors and the morticians, all are accountable for these decisions that's taking place. But no one is taking accountability for any of it. And when we talk about Mr. Jamaal here, are you really in front lines in the neighborhood? What bills are you really putting in? What are you really putting into place to really change that narrative to stop the babies from killing each other? Because from my perspective, the way I grew up, we always had military people that come, that was using drugs and just drop off the guns on us, pop open the trunk with a whole bunch of guns, and we was exchanging, crack for guns, and just more than guns. We was coming by different artillery, that'll really do some real damage, Then just besides that, we got to think about even from the train tracks, when we was young, just mysteriously, train just popped open with a whole bunch of guns, and the locks are busted off, it's just a whole bunch of guns with no firing pins in them, so I mean, who really out here taking accountability to stop the gun violence and violence that's taking place in these neighborhoods and things like that? Because from my observation, we don't have anybody, that's taking place in my neighborhoods. Talk about the neighborhood leaders. They're more highly venerate the pastors, and they love the pastors more than anything. And those are the people that's not out here saving the neighborhoods, or the morticianers, whatever. They on their bandwagon, and they're in their social groups. So they okay with the murderers and the killing that's happened, as long as they get a little grant money and a pat on the back to support their little 501c3 or whatever the case may be they got going on. So I want to ask Jamaal, what are you really having in motion, since you want to throw tantrums and look like John Coffey, in front of a whole bunch of political nobodies, talking about gun violence and things like that? What bills do you have into play to really stop all this? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see nobody locally or a national perspective that's really stopping gun violence or anything like that. It's so accessible for anybody to get a gun now, just because, like I explained in the first videos, once a person purchases a gun for $1,000 and hold on it for 3 or 4 years, now they want new technology or new different weaponry, and they realize they go to the gun store where they bought it from, they only gonna get 10% of their money back. So they rather sell it on the street, so they could go ahead and get, at least 50 to 60% of their money back, instead of, taking that 10%, $100 or $80, $90, for their weaponry. So, so that's how guns get recycled. Even most gun stores don't even accept certain weapons that's out of date. So we have to think about the logic of who's really painting the big picture to really stop gun violence or doing anything that's out here to save anybody. Because as I see it, y'all ain't nothing but a whole bunch of dirty ass politicians that's trying to get y'all pockets filled up and let the graves fill up at the same time. As long as you eating a good bloody rare steak on your table, it don't change the narrative that this mother have to identify her child bleeding in the middle of the street. They ain't even live, a quarter of their life on the average, statistically. So we just go talk about all that, man. Jamaal, you got a lot of answers that you should put out there, instead of screaming and hollering, like John Coffey out there, because a lot of people got to be accountable for their actions in their household, to their neighborhood, and their communities. Everybody say they protected by this U.S. government, but no one don't want to hold themselves accountable to the bylaws. So peace and prosperity to everybody.